Welcome back to Askewed Reviews. Today we are doing the fourth film in a franchise. We are doing the 2011 horror mystery slasher film Scream 4. Here is your trivia question for today. What character from the original Scream comes back in the form of a memorial bust? The answer will be at the end of this video. This film picks up with being 10 years after the events of Scream 3. Neve Campbell reprises her role as Sidney Prescott, who has apparently written a book called Out of Darkness. She's also joined in the film by Alison Brie, who plays her publisher Rebecca Walters. In this 10-year time gap, Dewey has now become sheriff of Woodsboro. He also has a few deputies working underneath him, including Mary Shelton's Deputy Hicks, Adam Brody's Deputy Haas, and Anthony Anderson's Deputy Perkins. Gail Weathers is back as well, and she and Dewey are now married. She has taken his name, and just like how Courtney Cox Arquette did in real life, she is now Gail Weathers Riley. She's also essentially retired, but trying to write a fictional novel. And of course, as per usual, there is a new Ghostface killer. And this killer is not just after Sidney and the original characters. This killer is also coming after Jill Roberts, who is Sidney's cousin, and all of her friends. And the last big thing that's occurred during this 10-year time gap is there are now 7 stab movies. Scream 4 does something a little different this time, where there's a beginning section with 3 different sets of females. This is different as all the movies preceding this one had male and female couples. In the first movie, you had Casey and Steve. In the second one, you had Maureen and Phil. And in the third one, you had Cotton and Christine. Scream 4 was unfortunately Wes Craven's last movie, as he passed away not too many years after it. Also, speaking of directors, Robert Rodriguez finally gets some recognition in the film, as they actually stated that Robert Rodriguez is the director of the first Stab movie, and he did in fact direct all the sequences of Stab in Scream 2. Also, speaking of films, there's an actual sequence in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back where they jokingly are making Scream 4, way before it was a possibility. They had Wes Craven show up in it and Shannon Doherty, and in this sequence, apparently the killer ends up being a monkey. And speaking of killers, at one point, Adam Brody's Deputy Haas was actually going to be one of the killers in Scream 4. As a heads up, this next part is going to be some spoilers, as I'm going to be talking about the actors who play the killers. Both of the actors who play the killers in this movie come from famous families. Rory Culkin is actually the sibling of both Kieran Culkin and Macaulay Culkin. And then, of course, we have Emma Roberts, who is the daughter of Eric Roberts and the niece of Julia Roberts. Emma Roberts has also performed with each of the 3 female actresses from the TV show Friends. She was in Hotel for Dogs with Lisa Kudrow, Scream 4 with Courtney Cox, and We're the Millers with Jennifer Aniston. Now here are some casting possibilities for Scream 4. As Jill Roberts, we almost had Selena Gomez, Ashley Greene, and Scout Taylor Compton. For Hayden Panettiere's Kirby Reed, we almost had Aaliyah Shawkat, Charlene Yee, or even Ali Michalka. Eric Knudson's Robbie almost was played by Shane Dawson. Marielle Jaffe's Olivia Morris was almost played by Jenna Coleman. Nico Tortorella's Trevor Sheldon was almost played by Kevin Pennington. Alison Brie's Rebecca Walters was almost played by Aubrey Plaza, Amanda Bynes, Gal Gadot, or even Gabrielle Union. Marley Shelton's Judy Hicks was almost played by Lake Bell or Christina Ricci. Mary McDonnell's Kate Roberts was very close to being played by Lauren Graham and then also Kim Rhodes. The characters of Chloe and Rachel at the beginning of the movie, played by Anna Paquin and Kristen Bell, were originally written for Paris Hilton and Lindsay Lohan. So all casting possibilities aside, here is my honest opinion of Scream 4. I feel like they went back to the drawing board, got very close to the original movie, and I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. Now, as for the trivia question from the beginning of this episode, what character from the original Scream comes back in the form of a memorial bust? If you notice, when you're inside the Woodsboro school, you do see a bust of Principal Himbry, played by Henry Winkler. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Askewed Reviews. If you would like to see any movie get a review, put your suggestion down in the comments. Otherwise, as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe.